Hello and welcome to Mulch, with me, your host Rebecca Anning-Brown. This is a weekly podcast for flower farmers who want to build a confident flower farming practice that reflects the lifestyle that you want now and in the future. Each week I'll share conversation and tips to nurture and grow you and your flower farm. I'll open conversations that flower farmers find difficult to talk about, provide approaches that will help you to make decisions, chuckle at the idiosyncrasies of our work, and always be real and honest about my own work as a flower farmer. My goal is to help you to grow a curious, confident and grounded flower farming practice that flourishes as a business that you love and are proud to shout about. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and if you like what you hear, please do leave a review and share the podcast with your flower farming friends. It really does help to grow a confident and successful flower farming community. Hi, good afternoon, good morning. I am just popping on to record a quick addendum or forward to the first episode of Mulch for 2025. Because when you listen to it, it'll be abundantly obvious that I recorded this episode between Christmas and New Year. And I'm okay with that. I'm still going to send it out as it is because the content remains absolutely accurate. However, so that it makes a bit more sense, I wanted it to be clear from the start that I did record it between Christmas and New Year because that felt like a really good time for me. The second thing to say is that the Flower Farming Business School online is now up, launched, and registration is open until January the 9th. The key thing is that what you will hear is me referring to it as a Flower Farmers Planner Online, and that's because I recorded the episode before I made a final decision, and the final decision is that the online school is going to be called the Flower Farming Business School Online, in line with our education name. And the reason for that is because there's a clear distinction. You don't need the planner to have access to or to join the online school. Obviously, I recommend it, but it's not essential. And so I've changed the name so that there's a bit more clarity for you on that. Otherwise, go ahead, have a listen. Welcome back to Mulch, and thank you. Hello, it's Rebecca from Silver Grey Foliage. Welcome back to Mulch. I think officially this is season 2, episode 1, and I'm really excited to be back a little earlier than planned. I was expecting to be back in February, but it just feels right. I feel like it's time to bring it back. So welcome. I hope this is welcomed in your podcast world, and I'm looking forward to speaking with you over the course of 2025. I'm outside. I'm not in my nice cozy back room. So those of you that don't know, we had a leak from the bathroom upstairs into our living room in November, and that's still not sorted, which is a real pain, mainly because it means that our living room is now our back room. We're really lucky to have that extra space, but our living room is now our back room, which is where I used to sit and do some work, and it's school holidays, so everybody's in the back room and nobody's in the kitchen because it's cozy and there's a sofa in there and it's warm and the TV's in there, and the kids are really chilling out. So I've created a new space. I quite like the new space. We have a couple of random buildings outside, and this one has gradually been emptied. So I'm in here. I can see the garden. I can see the kitchen, just about if I lean to the side. And it's not warm, but given that the weather is so mild outside, it's still certainly not cold. Now, it's odd that I'm saying that it's mild outside because I spent the majority of this year complaining because it was cold outside in Yorkshire, which has really affected our flowers. But, you know, at this time of the year, mild, well, it's great for me. Not so great for our soil and our plants, but we'll deal with that. And the plants will deal with that. Nature will have its way. So let's move on. Christmas is definitely a thing. It's not done in our house. I have yet to see my parents and my brother. I'm going to see them over the next week or so. But if you're anything like me, next season is 100% in your head already. I'm a bit out of practice with the land of podcasting, so I do have notes, and I'm going to turn them over in just a second. My head is very definitely in next season. But one of the things that I've realised, and as I was making my notes for this episode, I really wanted to talk to you about the thing that's different about Silver Grey Foliage, our flower farm, to every other business or career that I've ever done or worked for. And I think the way that I sum that up is by saying it's about who or what takes the lead. So in all of my other professions and careers and jobs, the thing that has taken the lead is me, my work, my guidance, my leadership, my role. And that's not to say that Silver Grey Foliage is not my idea, because it is. And it's not to say that the ideas that build our business and that structure our learning don't come from my thought, because they do come from my thoughts. And that's not to say that our learning and growth as a business isn't driven by me, because it is. However, the guidance around that comes from our customers, the florists that we work with, the DIY weddings that we do. It doesn't come from here. It's inspired by our customers, and it's inspired by our weddings, and then comes into my heart, and then goes into my head, rather than going from my head to my heart to my customer, which used to be my patients. Okay. It's also governed and guided by the weather and the environment and nature, because there are so many things that I could want to do. I'd love to provide fresh flowers all year round, and I suspect that nature, thanks to grass earth, environmental global warming, will mean that we provide a longer season as the years go on. But that's not guided by me. It's not within my gift to do anything about that. So I'm inspired and guided by what's going on outside, and I respond and react to that. That guidance also comes from gardens around, so my neighbours' gardens, neighbours' gardens in Headingley as I go for a walk, or any gardens that we visit. So, flowers that I see, the characteristics of them that I think will work are what make me consider trying new flowers or foliage for our customers. So again, it comes from the outside, goes through that kind of knowing sense that I have of what does and doesn't work, what might work, and I'm willing to test, and into my brain as to then how I'm going to make it work, how I'm going to make it happen in our business. And then finally, it also comes from other growers that I have either learned from or directly, or that I've learned to respect through the work that I've seen of them online and through Instagram. So I am definitely a fan of Instagram for many things. I do sometimes find it challenging, but I've learned so much, and I've learned to respect, and I've made friends through Instagram and the growing world, which is a massive blessing. I've been very lucky to learn from and to create our process through the learning that I've gathered from others. So again, that's their experience, their process that I've kind of held. I thought, this will work for us, this won't, and then I've put it into practice through my head. So that the process of our business is exactly the opposite of everything that I've ever done. In all of my other professional careers, it has been head first, learning, bookwork, written stuff, heart and intuition second, practice third. And I think that really encompasses the fact that it's actually not just me. Whilst the ideas and the drive come from me, the actual business, and if you're being honest, your business is based on more than that. I like it. I really do like it. I think these things and the way that practice, or my practice of flower farming, has become also stops me from feeling on my own. Because the work that we do outside, in the ground, with the flowers, with the foliage, is potentially isolating, but I never feel isolated. And for me, that's really important. I never feel like I'm on my own. I always know who I can call on for advice or a quick chat, or share my thoughts with. And again, to me, that feels different to my previous worlds. And I'm really grateful for it. So, as we head into the new year, in this kind of time before 2025 starts officially, I'm trying to remain mindful of that. It's not that I don't have thoughts and ideas and plans for the year ahead, but it's more that the thoughts and ideas and plans that I have aren't all going to happen on January the 1st. I can't rush them because the inspiration, even if it was coming from inside my head, I can't rush them. It's coming from somewhere in and then up and then out. And so I'm doing my best to try and stay grounded, excited, but with my feet firmly on the ground, doing what I can in and around our house, enjoying and sorting our home, decluttering. Still, been doing it for 2 years, and we still have stuff that I really don't know how we've acquired or what we will ever use it for, because I've never seen it used in our 14 years of marriage. Really simplifying that space. And yes, I know that we're lucky to, again, be able to do that. But the reality is that being able to create that space around me helps to create some clarity and thought in my brain, but it also helps me to remain inspired from the outside in rather than from the inside out. Okay, it gets me out of my head, the more space there is around me. I'm just kind of gently hoping to ease myself into the days, weeks, months of busyness that are coming. Knowing that January the 1st is this week, sure, but there will always be another day and another week after that. I'm feeling grateful for the same. Okay, be more specific, Rebecca. I know that some of that, for some of you, will be a bit wishy-washy. Not quite woo, but definitely not specific enough. And it may be helpful to have something more tangible to hold on to. So a more tangible thought process about what I'm actually up to at the moment. So I've made a list. I love a list. You all know I love a list. So I have been pruning the roses. I've done some of the ones that we have at HQ here. I need to do the rest. Normally I would have done them by the end of November, but December's all right. I'm not worried about that. Planting out perennials is next on my list. So I have a few trays on the random plastic table outside of half-filled perennials that never made it into the ground. Those are going to go into a bed that's just outside the summer house here. So I'm going to get those in over the next day or so. On Boxing Day, I had Anthony emptying that bed of weeds and plants that aren't productive anymore, and that won't respond to splitting, and mulching it for me. And so the next thing that he did for me very kindly is plant out odds and sods of plants that have been on my doorstep or on the back doorstep or sat outside the greenhouse, with the intention of getting them in the ground. So there's a random mix in there of things that I just don't have enough of to bother putting up at the field. And they'll sit there and I will cut from them and will enjoy them until they're big enough to split or until I have more of them. A couple of them, there's an echinacea in there. I've really struggled to establish echinacea up at the field, so we've put some down here that came from a garden centre. They were £1 plants, a bargain. I love a bargain. So those have gone into that bed too. What else am I doing? I have been sorting out the 1-year-old cuttings. So November last year, I did loads of cuttings because I knew I needed more of certain things, but I A, didn't have the money, and B, wasn't willing to pay for them because I wanted other things as well. So those cuttings are now 1-year-old. They're in 9cm pots. The majority, probably 90-95%, have done really well, and those are going to go up to the field. But I needed to weed out, literally pull out the ones that haven't succeeded, aren't happy. and put those on the compost heap. So that's another job that has been kind of gradually being done. What else? Eating chocolate. I eat a lot of chocolate. Probably spurred on by my daughter, which is unusual. Which brings me on to my children. I spent a lot of time hugging my children over the past week or two. Before I have to send them back to school, I've been feeding them up, making sure they sleep, and just enjoying watching them. The Christmas holidays are a nice length. They're not too long, not too short. I really enjoy that time. Now that I have it, I'm making the most of it with my children in this Christmas holiday. What else am I doing? I am taking, my writing is terrible. I'm taking cuttings from my favourite hydrangeas. This is why I don't normally make notes. There's maybe normally 3 or 4 lines because I can't read my notes. Washing trays, and getting them drained and stacked so that those are ready to use when we start sowing and growing in earnest. And picking up pots from around the garden. No matter how hard I try, we're really messy. Which means that the things that we need are always where we need them. We have a really bad habit that we might try and work on this year of using stuff, doing stuff, especially with things like empty pots, leaving them where they are so we can water, feed, and then move on to the next job. Part of the job, part of the process, part of the cycle needs to become pushing the pots on the shelf so that they're ready in the right place to be used next time we need them. So those are the sorts of things that I'm doing. They're really low key. They're all here at home. We have been up to the field a couple of times, but mainly because of the wind, to make sure that any covers that are on the beds are on the beds and staying covered. And what else did I do when I was up there? I took some cuttings. I took some cuttings of eucalyptus, interestingly. I've never done eucalyptus cuttings before, but we have a couple of trees that are truly gorgeous, that appear to be kind of rare misfits. So they're not a particular variety, but the leaf colour's amazing, the stem colour's amazing, they're really interesting bits of foliage. So if it's possible to do cuttings from them, it's a bit of a trial. I'll be really excited because I'd like to have more of those because they're my favourite to cut for my customers. And that's me. So staying grounded, staying settled into 2025. It's another day, it's another week, it's another start to a planner and a diary. I have actually saved mine until January because I had one from 2024 that I'm still using, but I'm looking forward to starting to write in that. And then things will speed up a bit. So the new year brings the Flower Farmers Planner online, which starts next week officially. There are obviously quite a few bits up there already, but the Flower Farmers Planner online starts officially on the 1st of January, so that is next week. There's lots of recordings ready to go up. I'll be sending out dates for those of you who've joined already. That will set out kind of Friday morning assembly dates, and then also dates for quarterly preparations, monthly Q&As and things like that. If you haven't joined the Flower Farmers Planner online or bought a Flower Farmers Planner, they went back on sale over the weekend, so it's now Monday, and they went back on sale on Saturday evening. So you can still order a planner. I've separated it out from the Flower Farmers Planner online, so you can buy a planner, or you can buy a planner and join for the first quarter, or you can join for the first year, and join us so that we can work together and learn together and get on and grow. I think the important thing to say about the Flower Farmers Planner online is that if you're expecting something revolutionary that's going to absolutely do everything for you, that's not going to happen. I'm going to support you. I'm going to share my knowledge and my learning. I'm going to answer as many questions as I can. I'm going to try my hardest to keep you on track with your plans for your business, doing your thing. That's what's important to me, your plans for your business. But no business was built in a day. Okay? I'm doing little by little by little by little, and the impact of that is pretty amazing. Okay, grand. Wherever you are, wherever you're listening, I hope you're well. I hope you're safe. Thank you for joining me today. Use links in the show notes if you wish to. Otherwise, I'll speak to you next week about something else to do with flower farming in practice.